What I noticed that caught my eye was Dylan's frisbee of sorts, the one that he of course sold or gave away. It returned to him in the thrift store by some miraculous chance because someone else gave it away. It seems representative to me of like iconography of a precarious world, one that seems to be falling apart at the rims. Like the frisbee is iconic for something of a grail, of a slippery slope just out of everyone's hand who touches it. Something maybe out of the slope or grasp of everyone in this economy of sorts. It's like commodities whose rapid expiration now permeate our perception of the world. It's an testament to the rise of the hobby as a national pastime and our already existing love for it. Our economy is developing into a state of autonomy, and love is somehow controlled of sorts. In this universe, there seems to be no more subtraction of material because, there's more multiplication. We cannot subtract from one end, for it informs the other end, and it opposes to declination. We expand our information. See, because, if we can't subtract something physical, such as a frisbee, it's there, unless we totally incinerate it of sorts, but, I don't think we're subtracting material at that rate regardless. It still matter, gas, liquid of sorts, if you want to go into that technicality. And, see, the frisbee, going on that note, it's still there of sorts. There's the aesthetic of, the uncluttering the hard disk, the auto backup of society. Society seems hell-bent on maybe, preserving information of sorts, And it's nowadays, because we're aware of our placement of history, we look in the past and history, and we see, well, maybe we could have saved more information, we could have gotten, a better reflection of the past, and now we're realizing, well, ultimately we will become the past, so we gotta start saving information now. But doesn't that take kind of the spontaneity and fun out of it, so to speak? So, in some aspects, we still seem attached to the past, as illustrated by the frisbee, because neither Dylan or the nameless man who gave it back to Dylan, or to the thrift store where Dylan found it, it still seems attached to it. It's a hard drive represented by literally a frisbee disk, a disk drive, frisbee disk. Anyway, last point, the objects, the durability is the opposite of its functionality. The frisbee is left for some kind of abandon, but it is still very much useful of sorts. It's abandoned. It's its functionality, of course. It's a wonderful game. I would expect frisbee golf to be, but I wouldn't assume everyone to be into it. But still, it's durable. It's still existing. It's a tradition that maybe everyone but a few people practice, say a religious cult of sorts. Maybe not everyone practices it, but it's still there. Just maybe there's still some nut jobs in the world, not that I'm calling frisbee golf players nut jobs, but you see the point I'm trying to illustrate. It's just the outsiders, maybe some people from the dark on types, they're still there. They're not going to go away. They're always going to exist because they were birthed some point in civilization.